The rain had been falling nonstop since early morning, washing the streets in a cold, gray silence. Officer Daniel Hayes was near the end of his night shift, driving slowly through an old neighborhood most people avoided. Broken streetlights flickered. Shops were closed. The city felt tired, just like him. As he turned onto a narrow road beside an abandoned warehouse, something small suddenly ran into the headlights. Daniel slammed the brakes. His heart jumped as he stepped out of the car. Standing in the rain was a tiny puppy, soaked, trembling, and crying loudly. One of its paws was lifted, injured, and its ribs showed through wet, dirty fur. The puppy looked up at him, not afraid, but desperate. "It's okay, buddy," Daniel whispered, kneeling down. But instead of running toward him, the puppy turned and limped away, stopping after a few steps. It looked back and cried, again, louder this time, almost like it was begging him to follow. Daniel hesitated. Officers were trained to be careful. This area was dangerous, and people sometimes used animals as bait. Still, something about the puppy's eyes stopped him from walking away. "All right," he said softly. "I'm coming." The puppy led him behind the warehouse, through piles of trash and broken wood. The rain grew heavier. The puppy kept stopping, checking if Daniel was still there, as if afraid of being abandoned again. Then Daniel saw it. Behind a collapsed metal door, half hidden by darkness, lay a woman on the cold ground. She was unconscious, her clothes torn, her face pale. One arm was bent at an unnatural angle, and blood mixed with rain near her head. Daniel's training kicked in instantly. "Dispatch, I need an ambulance now," he shouted into his radio. "Possible assault victim, unconscious female." He removed his jacket and gently covered the woman, checking for a pulse. It was weak, but she was alive. The puppy rushed to her side, whining, licking her face, pressing its small body against her chest as if trying to keep her warm. "You saved her," Daniel murmured, stunned. "You actually saved her." Minutes felt like hours before sirens cut through the rain. Paramedics arrived, rushing the woman onto a stretcher. As they lifted her, the puppy tried to jump on, crying loudly, refusing to be left behind. "Easy, little one," Daniel said, holding it gently. "She's going to be okay." At the hospital, doctors confirmed what Daniel feared. The woman had been attacked and left to die in the rain. If it weren't for the puppy, she would not have survived another hour. The story spread quickly. Nurses whispered about the hero puppy. Doctors shook their heads in disbelief. Even seasoned officers couldn't stop talking about it. The woman woke up 2 days later. Her name was Lily. When she regained consciousness, her first words were weak but clear. "My puppy. Where is my puppy?" Daniel was there. "He's safe," he said gently. "And he saved your life." Tears filled Lily's eyes as she smiled. She explained that she was homeless, living near the warehouse after escaping an abusive past. The puppy, Max, had been with her for only a few weeks. She had found him injured and starving, just like herself. They survived together. That night, when she was attacked, she told Max to run. But he didn't. Instead, he ran to find help. When Lily was discharged from the hospital, she had nowhere to go. Social services were contacted. Donations poured in after the local news shared the story. A small apartment was arranged, clothing, food, a fresh start. And Max? Daniel brought him in himself. The puppy ran straight into Lily's arms, tail wagging, barking happily. People in the room wiped their eyes. Even Daniel had to turn away for a moment. Weeks later, a ceremony was held at the police station. Officers stood in uniform. Cameras flashed. The chief smiled as he placed a small medal on Max's collar. "This," he said, "is the bravest officer I've ever met." Everyone laughed and then applauded. But for Daniel, the real moment came later. He visited Lily and Max at their new home. Max was healthy now, running around happily. Lily looked stronger, hopeful. "Thank you for not ignoring him," she told Daniel softly. "Most people would have." Daniel knelt down and scratched Max behind the ears. "No," he said. "Thank him. He reminded me why I became a police officer." That night, as Daniel drove home under clearer skies, he thought about how a small, crying puppy had stopped him and changed 2 lives forever. Sometimes heroes don't wear uniforms. Sometimes they have 4 legs and a heart big enough to save the world.